Alright guys, my name is Metagoblin and today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 advanced tips and tricks for Hunter in Classic World of Warcraft. So ever since I made my original video, which is a top 10 tips and tricks video, I've basically been messing around in my Hunter a little bit more. I've been talking to you guys on Discord and reading your comments in the comment section, and I basically decided to come up with a more advanced tips and tricks video for you today. Just before we jump in guys, please do give me a quick follow on Twitch, as when the game comes out in a month I will be streaming over on Twitch. So the first tip I have for you is what I've decided to call pet dummying. It involves intelligently using the pet attack and follow macro to totally evade enemies out in the open world. I want you to imagine this scenario. If you look at the Hillsbrad Foothills map right here, imagine you've been doing quests in the Hillsbrad Fields and you have to turn these quests in to the Taran Mill. So you would probably, by default have to go all the way down here along this road, then up this road here. Whereas you can totally cut off that corner and save a massive amount of time by running across this field. However, there's obviously going to be loads of bears and I think not tigers, mountain lions, that kind of thing in the way. And obviously you're going to aggro them, they're going to daze you, and it's going to massively slow you down. But what you can do is use your pet. Okay, what I'm going to basically just show you what I mean straight away. Imagine I've got to run through an open field of enemies. I'm just going to command my pet to attack. As soon as the pet aggros, I'm going to press follow, get him on the next one, and then get him on the next one. And as you can see, he's absolutely storming ahead. I haven't been dazed at all. I'm in aspect of a cheater here. If there was even more enemies in front of me, I could just, carry on. I've managed to get through all these enemies, and as you can see, they're all aggroing my pet, and I'm totally untouched. So obviously that's a very useful tactic to drastically speed up your leveling time. One thing I would like you to take note of, guys, well actually is two things. First of all, do not have aspect of the pack, up when this is when you're using this tactic, because then your pet will get dazed and will get slowed and you just won't be able to keep up with you, so then you'll start aggroing enemies. And it's important to know that I'm not spec'ing to Beast Mastery when I was showing you the trick. When you speak into Bestial Swiftness, this tactic becomes even more strong, because your pet's just going to be ridiculously faster than all the other enemies, out in the open world, so you should have absolutely no hassle when it comes to using this tactic, because your pet is basically drastically faster than you as the hunter, and there's less chance to actually get dazed. So yeah, you should just be able to storm through enemies and not pull anything at all. So the next trick I have for you is about pet pathing control. As you know, if you jump off any kind of ledge in a dungeon, sometimes your pet will kind of glitch down to where you are, but sometimes he will take the long route and just pull half the dungeon and cause pretty instant raid wipe. So it's basically a very simple Eyes of a Beast macro. What you're going to do is you're going to cast Eyes of a Beast, then you're going to cancel the aura, but also while you're cancelling it, you're going to command your pet to stay where he is so it doesn't run back up to you. And then you're going to jump down, and then you're going to press pet follow. This is what the macro is going to look like on retail, and this won't work on vanilla servers. This is what I'm using for this macro, so just something to bear in mind. So let me show you the macro in action. I'm going to press it, it casts Eyes of a Beast. I'm now controlling my animal, my pet, and then I'm going to jump down, then I'm going to press the macro again, and he will not move. He will just chill there. He's happy as can be. And then I'm also going to jump down, and then just press the macro again, and he will just start following me. And it's happy days. There you go. Every single function in just one simple macro. So I just wanted to quickly show you this macro in action in a very realistic environment. So in the Upper Blackrock Spire instance, everyone's going to be standing where the dragons are right now. I'm just hovering my mouse over them, and you basically jump down to start the fight. And as you may know, as a hunter, if you jump down without a macro like this or dismissing your pet will basically run all the way around, and he will come through the gates over here and just kind of glitch through them and pull everything with him, and then all the mobs will also glitch through the gate, and it's pretty much an instant wipe. So let's do the macro. The fight will obviously start when I jump down, but I'm not in a group right now. And then he's chilling down there, and then we're good. Happy days. Actually, I did forget that you actually do need to walk a little bit further for the fight to start. So my next trick for you is what I like to call melee and ranged cycling. So if you imagine a scenario where you're out in the open world, you're doing questing or you're leveling, whatever, and you've just totally run out of mana, there's a way that you can still do really decent damage without having to actually use your mana. And what you're going to do is you're going to very quickly cycle between ranged attacks and melee attacks. This will only work if you have Aspect of a Cheetah, active, and you have a very slow two-handed weapon and a slow ranged weapon. So let me show you in action. I'm going to get my pet into combat, and I'm going to get close as I can do without getting to the dead zone. And I'm basically, as you can see, I'm pressing two macros here which tell my character to melee and use a range attack. As you can see, my swing this isn't my swing timer, sorry, this is my auto shot timer. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to strafe back into melee range. Well, I'm strafing into melee range and out before the swing timer comes back, just like that. And as you can see, the damage is not bad at all. So you can use this tactic when you're speed leveling, because you know, instead of like stopping to drink, what you can do is just apply this tactic and wait for your mana to regenerate. It just kind of keeps you in the game, keeps you like chain pulling, and stops you from, you know, slowing down your leveling time. The next tip I have for you involves basically pet growl. So most people, when they play Hunter, they're just going to keep pet growl on auto cast. The issue with this is it actually costs 15 focus. So basically, if you're leaving it on auto cast when you don't really need it, it's gimping your DPS, because you could be spending that focus on damaging abilities like Bite and Claw. So what I basically recommend for you to do is make a separate pet growl macro, and you can't just put it into a pet attack macro. I'll give you an example. So I'll put pet growl into my like pet attack macro. I have a macro here which basically gets my pet into combat. Let's type in /cast growl. And I'm just going to press this macro, and as you can see, the pet has not growled. This pet growl ability, it's not gone off, and if I press it again it will go off. But look at the pet very closely. I want to show you what happens to the pet. Basically his attack, you know, his attacking just totally resets. So see how he runs out and just kind of resets? That probably wastes a melee attack. So I would not recommend basically putting casted abilities in your pet attack macro, because if I keep pressing his E macro, he just keeps running back and forward, and he's totally spazzing out now. And basically, yeah, that's also going to gimp your DPS. What you need is a totally separate pet growl macro. It's very simple. I have one here. It's going to be the same as is on vanilla and retail. You know, just /cast growl. Just have that key binded and use it as soon as he gets into melee range, and then start doing your auto attacks. You should only need one growl per fight, but even if you do pull aggro, you have more control over when your pet is growling, so you can just pop growl again and it should take the aggro off you. So my last trick involves pet taming. So it's basically a quick tactic to make pet taming much easier. As you may know, when you cast the Tame Beast ability, your defensive stats are reduced, which means whatever pet you're taming will do increased damage to you. So this can be quite severe and pretty much near impossible when you're trying to tame an elite enemy. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to open with Concussive Shot, just to make sure the pet doesn't get to us very quickly, so we have a free casting time. But we're going to make him run over basically a freezing trap. So let me show you this in action. I'm going to pop my freezing trap, and then I'm going to pop my Concussive Shot, chain it straight into a Tame Beast, like this. Okay, this should go fairly smoothly. I mean, this pet is, you know, he's going to be frozen for, well, hopefully the duration of Tame Beast, and it will be absolutely no hassle at all. And there we go. Just tamed King Bangladesh. Obviously I'm at level 60, but if you're trying to tame this at level 40, it's going to be quite difficult. So yeah, use this tactic to tame beasts very quickly and effectively. But anyway guys, I'm going to end the video there. My name is Metagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.